Hello everyone, I am Rashmi PK, MTech Food Technology first year student of Department of Dairy Science and Food Technology under Institute of Agriculture Science, Banaras Hindu University. As the part of the topic Emerging Technologies in Food Processing, the topic I am going to present in front of you all as shown in the slide, Advances in Processing and Preservation by Concentration and Evaporation. I think we all are familiar with the term evaporation. Evaporation or concentration by boiling is the partial removal of water from liquid foods by boiling of water vapor. It increases the solid content of food and hence preserves it by the reduction in water activity. Evaporation differs from dehydration since the final product from evaporation remains in liquid state. It also differs from distillation since the vapor produced in the evaporator are not further divided into fractions. A typical example of evaporation is in the manufacturing of concentrated tomato sauce, usually around 35 to 37% total solids obtained by evaporating water vapor from tomato juice, which has an initial concentration of 5 to 6% total solids. While discussing about the topic or the term evaporation, the question comes in our mind is why we go for evaporation. Evaporation provides microbial stability. It reduces transportation costs and storage costs, and the food becomes more attractive. It is considered as a pre-treatment to concentrate food prior to drying, freezing, or sterilization. Now, let's go through the theory of evaporation. Here, as shown in the slide, the rectangle represents an evaporator. Here, the feed will enter into the evaporator. With that, we will feed steam. Here, the vapor is removed from the evaporator and product will be collected from the evaporator. MF is the mass flow rate of the feed, where XF represents the solid fractions of the feed. Theta F is the temperature of the feed, where MV represents the mass flow rate of the vapor. Here, steam mass flow rate is represented with MS and theta S is the temperature of the steam. Here, the product mass flow rate is represented with MP and solid fractions of the product is represented with XP. Theta B is the boiling point of the product. The evaporation of a food material occurs in evaporator in two ways, that is, the heat transfer occurs in an evaporator is in two ways or two modes as sensible heat and latent heat. Here, first, the sensible heat is transferred from steam to food to raise the temperature to the boiling point of food. The latent heat of evaporation is then supplied by the steam to form bubbles of vapor which leaves the surface of boiling liquid. The rate of evaporation is determined by the rate of heat transfer into the food and the rate of mass transfer of vapor from the food. Now let's discuss about the mass balance equations. The mass of feed entering into the evaporator is equal to the summation of the mass of the product and vapor removed from the evaporator. For water vapor, the equation comes as MF into 1 minus XF is equal to MP into 1 minus XP plus MV. For solutes, MF into XF is equal to MP into XP. And the total mass balance is coming as from these two equations as MF is equal to MV plus MP. For heat balance, the amount of heat given by the condensing steam is equal to the amount of heat used to raise the temperature of feed to boiling point and then to boil of the vapor. Here, the heat energy Q is equal to Ms into lambda S. Here, lambda S is the latent heat of steam, and for the product, the heat energy Q is equal to mf into Cp into theta b minus theta f plus mv into lambda v. Here lambda v is the latent heat of the vapor and Cp is the specific heat of the feed. Here the heat supplied by steam is equal to the sensible heat and latent heat of vapor. The rate of heat transfer across evaporator walls and boundary films is found using the equation Q is equal to UA theta S minus theta B. Here U is the overall heat transfer coefficient. For the majority of an evaporation process, the rate of heat transfer is considered as the controlling factor, and the rate of mass transfer only becomes important when the liquor becomes highly concentrated. Now let's go through the different methods of concentration. As shown in the figure, let's go through different examples of concentration methods. They are solar concentration, open kettle, flash evaporator, thin film evaporator, vacuum evaporator, freeze concentrator, ultrafiltration, and reverse osmosis. There are many other different types of concentration and evaporation methods available now. The different factors influencing rate of heat transfer are the temperature difference between steam and boiling liquid, deposits of heat transfer surface, and boundary films formed inside the evaporator. The different factors influencing economics of evaporation are the loss of concentrate or product quality by foaming. Here, foaming occurs due to the presence of different proteins and carbohydrates in the feed material. And with that, high energy consumption is also a factor that influences economics of an evaporator. Now, let's discuss about different parts of an evaporator. Here, an evaporator is made up from three functional sections. They are heat exchanger, a means of separating the vapor produced, and a mechanical or steam ejector, vacuum pump. Now let's discuss about different parts of an evaporator. Here, an evaporator is made up from three functional sections. They are heat exchanger, a means of separating the vapor produced, and a mechanical or steam ejector, vacuum pump. Now let's discuss about multiple effect evaporator. Here the slide gives the answer for why we go for multiple effect evaporation. Here it is mainly because of its simplicity and steam that we have to use only in the first effect, and the use of vapor as the heating medium in additional effects result in obtaining high energy use efficiency from the system. Here the slide gives a schematic representation of different effects, the arrangement of effect in multiple effect evaporation. The first one is forward effect forward multiple effect evaporation. The second is reverse multiple effect evaporation, and the third is parallel, and the fourth is mixed multiple effect evaporation. Now let's discuss about the different factors affecting the rate of evaporation. The rate at which the heat can be transferred into the liquid is the first factor, and the quantity of heat required to evaporate each kilogram of water, the pressure at which the evaporation takes place, and any changes that may occur in foodstuffs during evaporation process. These are the different factors affecting the rate of evaporation. Here we discuss about the different applications of evaporation. They are product concentration, dryer feed pre-concentration, volume reduction, water or solvent recovery, and crystallization. Now let's go through different evaporated and concentrated food products. The evaporated food products are concentrated vegetable juice, coffee extracts, refining sugar, salt, and concentrated milk products. For the concentrated food products, the examples are jam, jelly, tomato paste, and sugar syrups. Now let's discuss about the different merits and demerits of evaporation. It is used to reduce the weight and volume of the food product and saves energy in subsequent operation, and it helps to reduce storage, transport, and distribution costs. High degree of concentration is another merit of evaporation. Greater convenience of the consumer and the manufacturer, like the product food drinks, concentrated soup, and tomato paste. The changes in food quality is a demerit of an evaporator, but we can apply different heat treatment to reduce or minimize the changes in food quality, and it can be minimized by the designing and operation of the equipment. It is more expensive in energy consumption than other methods of concentration like membrane concentration and freeze concentration. Thank you all.